My name is Kaito Ren, and I became the strongest idiot in human history by refusing to level up. That sounds wrong, because in my world leveling up is basically breathing. Monsters appear, you kill them, you gain EXP, and when the bar fills, your level rises automatically. Strength goes up, mana goes up, your bones stop complaining, and everybody celebrates. Kids throw level up parties. Rich families hire private monster ranches so their heirs can grind safely. Hunters compare levels the way old men compare cars. If you are level 80, people listen when you speak. If you are level 10, people tell you to carry the bags. I was level 1 at age 18. Not because I was lazy. Okay, I was a little lazy. But the real reason was that the first slime I ever killed gave me a message nobody else could see. The slime had jumped at my face behind the school gym. I panicked, swung a mop like a spear, missed, slipped in my own bucket, and somehow kicked the slime into an electrical box. It exploded with the saddest squeak in monster history. A blue window appeared. You have gained 10 EXP. EXP threshold reached. Choose reward. Level up. Convert EXP into stat points. I stared at it for so long that the school janitor thought I had been electrocuted too. Everyone I knew leveled automatically. There was no choice. There was never a choice. But my screen had 2 glowing buttons, and one of them looked illegal. Naturally, I pressed it. The 10 EXP vanished. Then another message appeared. You have gained 10 free stat points. I almost dropped the mop. For normal hunters, leveling from level 1 to level 2 might give 3 or 4 total stat points spread across everything. Strength, agility, endurance, mana, perception. The system decides. You get what you get. I just traded one tiny slime for 10 points I could place anywhere. I put all 10 into strength, then I picked up the metal mop bucket with one hand and accidentally crushed it into the shape of a taco. That was the moment my future disappeared. Not in a tragic way, in a very expensive property damage way. The next morning I killed another slime. I chose stats, then another, stats, then 5 sewer rats, stats, then a horned pigeon that had been stealing lunch from the cafeteria roof. More stats. For 6 months my level never moved. My mother thought I was a failure. My teachers used me as a bad example. My childhood friend Mina Seo had reached level 22 and joined a real guild internship. Meanwhile, I was still level 1 and spending my evenings behind grocery stores murdering mutated cockroaches for tiny pieces of EXP. I had a plan. It was not a good plan. It was a greedy plan. The lower my level stayed, the less attention I got. Dungeons rated monsters partly by the average level of the party entering. Training zones let low-level hunters kill weak monsters without guild taxes. Most importantly, nobody imagined a level 1 guy could be dangerous. By the time I had killed my 10,000th slime, my strength was 2,800. My agility was 2,100. My endurance was 1,900. My mana was 3,400. My perception was 1,200. My luck was 7. I had ignored luck because I thought it was a scam. That decision almost killed me 43 times. Normal level 20 hunters had total stats around 200. Strong level 100 hunters might have several thousand spread across all categories. I was level 1, and I could jump over apartment buildings. The problem was that I still did not have skills. Skills unlocked through levels, titles, classes, quests, and rare achievements. My raw stats were stupid, but my skill page was basically an empty lunch menu. I could run fast, punch hard, and pour mana out of my body like a broken fire hydrant. But I had no idea how to shape it. That became important when I accidentally punched a dungeon. The entrance was supposed to be a low-grade goblin gate under an abandoned shopping mall. I had registered as baggage support because level 1 hunters were not allowed to fight. The party leader was a level 19 swordsman named Doran Pike, a guy with perfect hair and the personality of a wet sock. He looked at my badge and laughed. Level 1? Stay behind me. If a goblin sneezes, you'll die. I nodded. Then I carried all 6 party backpacks with 2 fingers. He did not notice. Mina was also there. She had become level 31, which was amazing for our age. She was a fire mage with enough talent to get scouted by the Silver Crown Guild. When she saw me, she pulled me aside. Kaito, why are you still level 1? I'm saving. Saving what? Violence. She stared at me. I smiled. She told me she hated talking to me. The dungeon opened and we entered. Usually, beginner dungeons are boring. Goblins come in groups of 3. Somebody screams. Somebody swings a sword. Everybody gets blood on their shoes. And then they argue about loot. This one was different. The moment we crossed the gate, the entrance vanished. A red system message appeared in front of everyone. Dungeon classification updated. Hidden condition fulfilled. All intruders detected below level 40. Emergency evolution initiated. The floor shook. Doran's perfect hair finally moved. The goblin cave transformed into a black fortress filled with armored ogres, poison wolves, and giant eyeballs floating in the ceiling. Everyone panicked. I checked the map. No exit. Doran yelled for formation. Then an ogre the size of a truck charged us. He raised his shield. The ogre hit him once. Doran flew through 3 walls. Mina cast a fire spear, but the ogre slapped it aside and roared. I was still carrying the backpacks. I sighed, put them down, and walked forward. Mina grabbed my shirt. Kaito, what are you doing? Saving. This is not the time for jokes. I'm not joking. The ogre swung a club at my head. I raised one hand. The club snapped. The ogre froze. Everybody froze. I froze too, because I had meant to catch it, not break it. Then the ogre looked at the broken club, looked at me, and made a face that said its entire career had been a mistake. I punched it lightly. It disappeared. Not died. Disappeared. There was a hole shaped like an ogre through the fortress wall, through the cavern behind it, and possibly through a mountain somewhere in another dimension. 1,000 blue messages filled my vision. You have defeated Iron Ogre. You have gained 2,400 EXP. Choose reward. Level up. Convert EXP into stat points. I chose stats before the ogre's body finished traveling. Mina slowly turned toward me. You're level 1. Yes. You just punched an evolved ogre out of the dungeon. Yes. Explain. No. A poison wolf jumped from behind her. I flicked a copper coin. The coin went through the wolf, 6 pillars, a treasure chest, and Doran's shield. Doran, who had just crawled back into the room, stared at the new hole in his shield. I apologized. He fainted. After that, our survival strategy became simple. Everyone stayed behind me. I walked forward. Anything hostile stopped existing. Armored ogres, slap, poison wolves, coin, stone golem. I picked it up and used it as a hammer against another stone golem. A swarm of vampire bats came down the hallway, so I clapped. The wind pressure launched them backward so hard that the dungeon gave me an environmental destruction warning. I converted every drop of EXP into stats. My numbers climbed. Strength passed 4,000. Agility passed 3,000. Mana passed 5,000. And I was still level 1. Then we reached the boss room. A giant goblin emperor sat on a throne made of weapons. He was level 58, which was enough to wipe our party in seconds. He stood up and began a dramatic speech. Foolish humans, you have entered the graveyard of... I threw a pebble. The throne exploded. The emperor's crown spun through the air and landed on Doran. The emperor blinked. I blinked. I was aiming next to you. He looked offended. Then he pulled out a red crystal and stabbed it into his chest. The room turned black. His body expanded until his horns scraped the ceiling. 6 arms burst from his back. His level climbed. Level 58, level 71, level 83, level 99. Mina whispered, Kaito, I see it. Level 120. The goblin emperor smiled. Doran woke up, saw the number, and fainted again. The emperor's aura crushed the floor. The walls cracked. Mina could barely stand. I felt something I had not felt in months. Excitement. Finally, something that might survive one punch. The emperor launched forward faster than sound. He threw 6 punches. I dodged 5. The 6th hit me in the chest and sent me through the wall. For the first time, somebody had moved me. I landed in a treasure room, surrounded by gold, and started laughing. Mina yelled through the hole, Why are you laughing? Because this guy is awesome. The emperor charged after me. I decided to test my mana. I had over 5,000 points and no proper spell, so I copied Mina. I pointed one finger and said, Fire spear. Nothing happened. The emperor punched me through another wall. I tried again. Fire spear. Nothing. Another punch. Fire spear please. Still nothing. The emperor grabbed my face. Mina screamed, You need the actual skill. That made sense. I did not have the skill, but I had mana. A ridiculous amount of mana. So instead of casting a fire spear, I grabbed raw mana with my hand. I had no idea that was impossible. I squeezed. The air turned blue. Every magic crystal in the dungeon exploded. The emperor stopped. I pulled my arm back. The blue mana wrapped around my fist like a thunderstorm. Then I punched. The emperor blocked with all 6 arms. For half a second, he looked proud. Then his 6 arms bent backward. The impact launched him into the ceiling, out of the boss room, through 3 dungeon floors, and straight into the sky beyond the dimensional barrier. A system window appeared. You have defeated Goblin Emperor, corrupted form. You have gained 180,000 EXP. I nearly fell over. That was enough EXP to level me dozens of times. The screen asked the usual question. Level up. Convert EXP into stat points. My finger moved toward convert. Then a third option appeared. Spend 100,000 EXP to unlock a unique class. My greed stopped fighting. Now it started negotiating. A unique class could give me skills. Real skills. The kind normal people needed.
Meaning dominant openness, and then above the dash, but story, I start to destroy the stars, can his name is Masters, we sky guys, with this the Oscars, Charlie's boss champion skies, Shask away the organ size, stars, skies, stars, splash, biscuit, stars, I
You look insulted. I am. The class description appeared. EXP Miser, a secret class for one who rejects the normal path of growth. Passive effect. EXP can be converted into stat points at improved efficiency. Passive effect. Stat requirements for skills are reduced. Passive effect. Hidden skills may be forcefully unlocked by meeting impossible stat thresholds. Special skill acquired. Compound interest. For every full day you remain below your natural level, stored stat growth increases by a tiny percentage. I stopped being angry. I loved my stupid class. I converted the remaining EXP. My stats jumped again. Then the dungeon began collapsing. Because apparently launching the boss through the dimensional ceiling was bad for structural stability. I grabbed Mina under one arm, Doran under the other, stacked the rest of the party on my back and ran. The corridors collapsed behind me. We reached the vanished entrance. There was still no portal. Mina shouted, "What now?" I looked at the dungeon wall. Then I remembered I had punched the boss through dimensions. Bad idea. What? I punched the gate open. Space shattered like glass. We fell out into the abandoned shopping mall just as the entire dungeon collapsed into a marble-sized black hole behind us. For 1 second it sat there floating. Then it tried to pull the mall inside. I panicked and punched it too. The black hole vanished. So did the roof. Half the city saw us standing under open sky surrounded by broken tiles, monster blood, and Doran wearing the Goblin Emperor's crown. That was how I became famous. Unfortunately, the guild cameras had been destroyed inside the dungeon. Fortunately, Doran remembered everything. Unfortunately, Doran refused to tell the truth. At the Hunter Association hearing, he sat in front of 12 officials and claimed he had defeated the dungeon boss. He said I survived because he protected me. Mina nearly set the courtroom on fire. I did not care. Fame was dangerous. If the association learned about my EXP conversion ability, they might study me, recruit me, imprison me, or worst of all, give me responsibilities. So I let Doran take credit. He was promoted to D rank. He got sponsorships. He appeared on television holding the cracked shield my coin had pierced, and said the hole was a mark left by battle. I laughed so hard I fell off my sofa. Then the Hunter Association summoned me again. Not because they knew the truth, because the ranking crystal had a problem. Every hunter has to place a hand on a crystal that reads level, mana, physical ability, and skill resonance. My official result still said level 1, but the crystal also recorded an error every time it tried to measure my stats. The examiner, an old woman named Director Hana, frowned at me. Try again. I placed my hand on the crystal. It turned bright white. A crack appeared. Then another. Then it exploded. Nobody spoke. I slowly lowered my hand. Was that expensive? Director Hana looked at the smoke. Very. Can I pay monthly? She stared at me for a full minute. Then she handed me a temporary hunter license marked Special Evaluation Pending. That was worse than being arrested. Meant people would watch me. So I decided to behave normally. The next day, I entered the weakest public dungeon in the city. My goal was simple: kill slimes, gain EXP, convert stats, go home. No explosions, no secret bosses, no dimensional punching. I even wore gloves. For 10 beautiful minutes, everything was peaceful. Then I stepped on a gold slime. Gold slimes were absurdly rare. Killing one could drop a treasure worth millions. This one looked at me. I looked at it. It swallowed my shoe. I kicked instinctively. The gold slime flew into a wall. The wall collapsed. Behind it was a hidden staircase. I closed my eyes. No. A quest window appeared. Hidden dungeon discovered. First explorer bonus activated. I turned around. The entrance sealed. Of course. I walked down the staircase while missing one shoe. At the bottom was an underground casino run by skeletons. I am serious. Skeletons in black suits stood behind card tables. Ghosts served drinks. A lich with a red bow tie sat in the center under a chandelier. A sign read, "Welcome to the House of Odds." The lich raised one hand. "Human, you have entered the gambling tomb of King Vero. To escape, you must win 3 games. I looked at my luck stat. 7. I looked back at him. Can we fight instead? No. Arm wrestling? No. Rock throwing? No. He smiled. Games of chance only. This was the first enemy my strength could not solve. I sat at a card table. The first game was simple, draw the highest card. The skeleton dealer drew a king. I drew a 2. Second attempt, skeleton drew an ace. I drew another 2. Third attempt, the skeleton drew an ace. I drew a card with a picture of a sad chicken that was not even part of the deck. The lich laughed. I checked my stat screen. I had 4,000 unused stat points saved from the goblin dungeon because I had not decided where to place them. I finally understood why luck existed. I dumped all 4,000 points into luck. The room shook. Every roulette wheel stopped at once. The skeleton dealer dropped the deck. My next card was so shiny it had a halo. The lich stopped laughing. I won the first game. For the second game, we rolled dice. I rolled 2 6s. Then the dice cracked and revealed smaller dice inside. Those rolled 6s too. The lich accused me of cheating. I reminded him this was his casino. He became more upset. The third game was a wheel with 100 sections. 99 said death. 1 said freedom. The lich spun it. The wheel accelerated. Then my 4007 luck activated. A loose chandelier screw fell from the ceiling, bounced off a skeleton's skull, hit a wine bottle, launched the cork, struck the wheel, and stopped it exactly on freedom. The lich stared at the wheel. I stared at the wheel. Then my missing shoe fell from the ceiling and landed on my foot. I loved luck. The lich handed me a black coin. Hidden dungeon cleared. Reward acquired. Coin of reversal. Once per day, reverse one numerical outcome. I immediately had a dangerous thought. If I gained 100 EXP and reversed it, would I lose 100 EXP? That was useless. But what if an enemy dealt 100,000 damage to me? Could I reverse it? Or if I had a 1% chance to survive something, could I reverse 1% into 99%? The skill description was vague. Vague descriptions are where crime begins. I left the dungeon and spent the next week testing it. I reversed the price of a vending machine soda from 3 credits to -3 credits. The vending machine paid me. I reversed a 10-second traffic light into -10 seconds. The system created a small time loop, and I had to run away before the city noticed. I reversed a 1-point mana drain. My mana increased by 1. That last test made me stop smiling. If a spell cost 10,000 mana, and I reversed the cost once per day, would I gain 10,000 mana instead? I needed a spell first. So after avoiding levels for nearly a year, I finally made my second greedy compromise. I spent EXP on levels. Not many, just enough. I leveled from 1 to 5. The system practically threw confetti. Basic hunter skills unlocked. Mana bolt, reinforced body, storage. The normal stat gains were pathetic compared to my converted points, but the skill access was useful. I tested mana bolt in an empty quarry. I used 1 mana. A blue spark hit a rock. The rock chipped. Then I used 100 mana. The boulder exploded. Then 1,000. The quarry wall vanished. I stopped. Mina, who had followed me because she no longer trusted me alone, slowly lowered her phone. What did you just do? Mana bolt. That was not a bolt. That was a divorce between the mountain and the ground. I looked at my mana stat. It had crossed 9,000. What if I use all of it? No. What if? No. But, she punched me in the shoulder. Her hand hurt. I apologized. A week later, the association announced the National Rookie Tournament. Any hunter under age 21 and below level 50 could enter. The prize was a dragon core. A dragon core could increase mana capacity, unlock rare classes, or be sold for enough money to buy a small island. I wanted it. Not for power, for money. My mother had finally received the bill for the ranking crystal. I had also received the bill. She framed mine and hung it over the dinner table. So I registered for the tournament. My level was 5. Everyone laughed. The registration clerk thought I was joking. My first opponent was level 38. His name was Sven Rowe, and he had a rare berserker class, giant axes, and 14 fan clubs. He entered the arena covered in red aura. I entered wearing cheap sneakers. The announcer shouted, "Begin!" Sven roared. His strength tripled. He charged. I moved 1 inch to the left. He missed. He turned. I moved 1 inch to the right. He missed again. He kept swinging. I kept stepping slightly aside. The crowd started laughing. Sven became furious. He activated a skill called Blood Cyclone and spun like a screaming lawnmower. I lifted 1 finger. His axe hit my finger. The blade shattered. The crowd went silent. I flicked his forehead. He flew out of the arena and landed in his own fan club. Match over. I gained 2,000 tournament EXP. Convert. Next opponent. Level 42 assassin. He turned invisible. My perception had passed 5,000. I could hear his heartbeat. I could hear the announcer's heartbeat. I could hear a mouse under the snack stand thinking about cheese. The assassin tried to sneak behind me. I reached back and grabbed his hood. He screamed. I gently set him outside the arena. Match over. Convert. Next opponent. Level 47 Lightning Mage. He filled the arena with electricity. I discovered my hair could stand straight up. That was the most damage he did. I walked through his lightning, touched his forehead, and drained his barrier with raw mana pressure until he passed out from fear. Match over. Convert. By the semi-final, people stopped laughing. They started checking my official level every 30 seconds because nobody believed it. Then Doran entered the arena. Of course he had entered. His fake fame had gotten him expensive equipment, private trainers, and a sponsor that sold protein pudding. He was level 44 now. He looked at me and smiled for the cameras. Kaito, I'm glad you made it this far. I smiled back. Me too. He leaned closer. Do not embarrass me. Lose quickly. I thought about the Goblin Dungeon. I thought about his interviews. I thought about the protein pudding commercial where he claimed his warrior instincts came from vanilla flavor. I decided not to punch him. That would be too simple. The match began. Doran activated 6 buff skills at once. His armor glowed gold. His sword doubled in size. He rushed me with a technique called Emperor Slash. I dodged. His blade hit the arena floor. I stepped on the sword. He pulled. It did not move. He pulled harder. Nothing. I looked down. Oh, sorry. I lifted my foot. He yanked too hard and fell backward. The crowd laughed. Doran turned red. He activated his ultimate skill. A giant lion made of light appeared behind him. The lion roared. Doran charged. I used storage. A black square opened. His sword vanished into my inventory. He kept charging without realizing it. Then he reached me, swung both hands, and discovered he was holding nothing. I opened storage behind him. His own sword shot out hilt first and hit him in the butt. He flew face first across the arena. The announcer stopped speaking. Mina fell out of her chair. Doran stood up slowly, shaking with rage. You stole my sword. I stored it. That is theft. It came back. He screamed and charged barehanded. I sidestepped. He tripped. I won without throwing a single attack. That should have been the end. But Doran's sponsor had paid for a hidden artifact. When the referee turned away, Doran crushed a black capsule in his hand. His level began to rise. 44, 50, 60, 75. His muscles expanded. Black veins covered his neck. The audience screamed. He had used a forbidden overlevel drug. The lion aura behind him transformed into a 2-headed beast. He punched the referee out of the arena and turned toward me. I looked at the officials. Nobody could stop him, so I sighed. Doran, he roared. Your pudding sucks. He attacked. I slapped him. Not hard, just enough to send him spinning into the arena wall. The wall survived. He did not. His transformation ended. The black capsule rolled across the floor. Every camera caught it. His career disappeared in real time. I felt a little bad. Then I remembered the pudding. The final should have happened after a 1-hour break. Instead, the sky split open. A massive red gate appeared above the stadium. Monsters began falling out. Not normal monsters, winged knights, fire serpents, armored demons with levels over 80. The association immediately canceled the tournament. I did not hear the announcement. I was looking at the dragon core. The prize was still sitting inside a glass case near the arena. Technically, nobody had won. Technically, I had reached the final. Technically, demons were attacking the city. I ran to the case. Mina saw me. Kaito, what? People are dying. I know. Why are you stealing the prize? I'm securing it. That is stealing. I put the dragon core into storage. Secured. Then I jumped into the sky. That was the first time thousands of people saw what my stats really meant. One step cracked the arena floor. The jump launched me higher than the stadium roof. A fire serpent opened its mouth. I punched downward. The air pressure flattened it. A winged demon tried to cut me in half. I grabbed its sword, spun once, and threw the demon into 3 other demons like a bowling ball. 4 kills. EXP poured in. Convert. I landed on a falling chunk of stone, jumped again, and moved from monster to monster in the air. I could not fly. I simply refused to fall. Every monster became a platform. Kick. Jump. Punch. Jump. Throw. Jump. The crowd below watched a level 5 hunter climb into the sky by stepping on demons. It was the dumbest thing I had ever done. It worked perfectly. Then something enormous pushed through the gate. A red dragon. Its level was 146. The stadium went silent. Even the S-rank hunters on security duty froze. The dragon spread its wings and released enough heat to melt the arena roof. I landed on its nose. It crossed its eyes to look at me. Hi, it roared. I flew backward from the sound. My ears rang. Finally, a boss with manners. The dragon fired a beam of flame. I used reinforced body. My jacket burned off. My shirt survived. I made a mental note to buy more shirts from that brand. The beam pushed me through 2 towers. I landed inside an office on the 32nd floor. A man sitting at his desk stared at me. I stared at him. He looked at the dragon outside. Are we working tomorrow? I wouldn't. Thank you. I jumped back through the window. The dragon fired again. This time I opened storage. I had discovered the skill could store objects, not energy. But dragon fire was technically mixed with molten crystal dust. So I tried storing the dust. The system removed the physical particles from the breath. The fire beam collapsed into a weak burst of hot air. The dragon blinked. I smiled. Science. I had no idea if that was science. The dragon dove at me. I used the coin of reversal. Its dive speed was 900 kilometers per hour. I reversed the number. For one instant, its speed became -900. The dragon snapped backward like the universe had grabbed its tail. Its eyes widened. I used the chance. I landed on its head and activated Mana Bolt. 1 mana did nothing. 100 annoyed it. 1000 burned a scale. I grinned. Then I used 8000 mana. The sky turned blue. Mina, far below, saw the light and screamed, Kaito, no! Too late. The Mana Bolt became a pillar wider than the stadium. The dragon vanished inside it. The red gate shook. Clouds split for kilometers. When the light faded, the dragon was still alive. Barely. Its scales were gone. Its pride was gone. Most of its eyebrows were gone, and I was not sure dragons even had eyebrows before that. Then I ran out of mana. The dragon raised 1 claw. I remembered the reversal test. Mana Bolt had cost 8000 mana. Coin of reversal was once per day. I had already used it on the dragon's speed. I had nothing. Then the dragon core inside my storage reacted. A system window appeared. Absorb dragon core? Possible effects unknown. Mina yelled something from below that sounded like, do not eat random artifacts. I absorbed it. My mana stat doubled. A new skill appeared. Dragon Furnace. Convert physical stamina into mana. I had over 6000 endurance. The dragon swung. I converted stamina. Mana flooded back. I fired another bolt directly into its claw. The explosion tore open the red gate. The dragon fell. I grabbed its tail. Everyone thought I was trying to stop it from crushing the stadium. I was, but I also wanted the EXP. I spun in the air and threw the dragon back through the gate. Then I fired one last mana bolt. The dragon exploded on the other side. The gate collapsed. You have defeated Crimson Disaster Dragon. You have gained 4,800,000 EXP. I stopped moving. 4.8 million. Even I felt greedy. The system asked me the usual question. Level up. Convert EXP into stat points. Then more options appeared. Unlock Advanced Class. Unlock Dragon Lineage. Unlock Flight. Unlock Legendary Weapon License. Unlock Cooking Proficiency. I stared at Cooking Proficiency. For some reason, it cost 900,000 EXP. I almost chose it out of curiosity. Mina landed next to me on a rescue platform and slapped my hand away from the screen. What are you doing? Nothing. You have that face. What face? The face you make before laws change. I converted most of the EXP. The stat points flooded in so fast the system lagged. My strength passed 20,000. Agility 18,000. Endurance 14,000. Mana 26,000. Perception 11,000. Luck 8,000. Then my class passive triggered. Impossible stat threshold reached. Hidden skill unlocked. Limit breaker. Ignore one system restriction for 60 seconds. I read it twice. That skill was dangerous, not because of what it did, because of how many stupid ideas it created. The stadium battle made hiding impossible. The world watched footage of me stepping on demons, reversing a dragon in midair, and firing a mana bolt that looked like a satellite weapon. Every news station showed my profile. Name, Kaito Ren. Age, 18. Level 5. People thought the display was wrong. The association thought the display was broken. Director Hana knew it was not. She called me into her office. She had replaced the ranking crystal. This one was behind 6 layers of glass. She did not ask me to touch it. Smart woman. She placed a folder on the desk. Your level is real. Yes, your stats are not. They are also real. That is what concerns me. She leaned forward. How? I smiled. No, she smiled back. Then 12 elite hunters appeared behind the one-way mirror. I stopped smiling. Director Hana sighed. They are not here to arrest you. They are here because a Calamity-class gate appeared in the Northern Sea. I looked at the folder. A satellite image showed a black tower rising from the ocean. Every hour the tower grew taller. No team sent inside had returned. The lowest monster recorded near the entrance was level 130. The highest reading was unknown. I pushed the folder back. I'm level 5. Director Hana's eye twitched. You killed a level 146 dragon. Allegedly. It was broadcast live. Deepfake. Kaito. I sighed. What's the reward? Mina, who had come as my official handler even though nobody asked her to, hit me with the folder. Director Hana named a number. I sat up straight. When do we leave? The association assembled a raid team of 20 hunters. The weakest was level 112. The strongest was a level 178 S rank named Garrick Soul, famous as the Iron Saint. He wore silver armor, carried a spear taller than a streetlight, and looked at me like someone had accidentally invited a delivery driver to a royal wedding. This child is joining us? I'm 18. That is a child. You have 3 earrings shaped like skulls. That is irrelevant. I liked him immediately. The black tower rose from the sea like a giant nail driven into the planet. Our transport helicopter could not approach because flying monsters swarmed the air, so Garrick jumped from the helicopter onto the tower bridge. The other S ranks followed with flight skills. I did not have flight. I had a better plan. I jumped. Too hard. I overshot the bridge by 500 meters. For 3 full seconds I sailed past the raid team. Garrick watched me disappear into the fog. Mina covered her face. I landed on the side of the tower, dug my fingers into the stone, and climbed back up. Nobody said anything. I climbed over the railing. Wind. Garrick nodded slowly. Of course. The tower's first floor contained a single monster, a tiny white rabbit. Everyone stopped. Garrick raised his spear. The rabbit sneezed. 1 S-rank hunter was launched through a wall. Its level appeared, level 201. I loved the tower. Garrick activated 6 holy buffs. Mina summoned a fire dragon. 3 archers fired enchanted arrows. The rabbit dodged everything. It moved so fast the air exploded. Then it attacked me. I caught it. The rabbit kicked my wrist. My hand went numb. I stared at it. It stared at me. I put 5,000 more points into strength. The rabbit's ears lowered. I squeezed gently. It surrendered. A system message appeared. Rare condition fulfilled. You have defeated White Calamity Rabbit without killing it. Pet contract available. I looked at Garrick. He looked at the rabbit. No. I pressed accept. The rabbit became my pet. I named it Taxes. Mina asked why. Because it hurts and always shows up unexpectedly. Taxes jumped onto my shoulder. Garrick walked away. The tower had 100 visible floors. We cleared the first 10 in an hour. By we, I mean the raid team fought normal monsters while Taxes and I kept accidentally triggering hidden bosses. Floor 12 had a hallway of cursed mirrors. Everyone had to fight an evil reflection of themselves. My reflection appeared. It was level 5. I laughed. Then its stats loaded. Strength 25,000. Agility 21,000. Mana 30,000. I stopped laughing. My reflection smiled. Bad day? It punched me through 6 mirrors. For the first time in my life, I understood how other people felt when I fought them. It was terrible. My reflection copied every raw stat and every skill. It even had the coin of reversal. We hit each other so hard the mirror realm started cracking. I punched. It blocked. It kicked. I blocked. I fired Mana Bolt. It fired Mana Bolt. The 2 blasts collided and vaporized the mirror floor. I tried storage. It stored my shoe. I looked down. Seriously? The reflection grinned. It had learned from me. I needed something it could not copy. Then I realized the mirror copied my current state, not my future state. I still had unspent stat points. I dumped 10,000 into agility. The reflection's eyes widened. I vanished. For 1 second I moved so fast I could circle the mirror realm before sound started. I took my shoe back. Then I tapped the reflection on the forehead. It shattered. The other hunters watched me return barefoot because I had somehow stored my own second shoe during the fight. Nobody asked. Floor 20 had a city of ghosts. Floor 30 had a giant chessboard where every piece was a level 160 knight. I do not know chess, so I picked up the king and carried him to the other side. The system argued with me. I argued back. Eventually it gave me the win because there was no rule saying the king could not be physically kidnapped. Floor 40 had a lake made of acid. Garrick started explaining a careful route using floating stones. Taxes hopped across the acid. The acid evaporated from fear. We followed the rabbit. Floor 50 was where things became serious. The room was empty except for a throne. A woman sat on it. Black hair, golden eyes, no weapon, no visible level. Every S-rank hunter raised their guard. She looked at me, not Garrick, me. You are late. I pointed at myself. Do I know you? No. Then how can I be late? She smiled. Because the tower was built for you. Nobody liked that sentence. I especially did not like that sentence. Her name appeared. Archivist Seraphine. Level, unavailable. She snapped her fingers. Everyone except me and Taxes froze. Time stopped. Mina became a statue. Garrick's spear hung in the air. Even dust stopped moving. I looked around. This feels unfair. Seraphine walked toward me. You possess the divergent ascension trait. My stomach dropped. That was the first time anyone had named my ability, she continued. You refuse levels and convert growth into direct potential. Your kind existed before the system was standardized. My kind? Cheaters. I felt offended. Then I felt proud. She touched my chest. A hidden menu opened. Trait, divergent ascension. Restriction, sealed. Origin, deleted. Her smile disappeared. Someone erased your origin data. Was it me? You were a baby. I was talented. She ignored me. The tower is a calibration device. If you reach the top, the world system will recognize you as an anomaly. It will either evolve around you, she paused, or erase you. Taxes bit her finger. Time resumed. Seraphine vanished. Garrick finished his sentence from 10 seconds earlier. Stay behind me. I looked at the empty throne. Sure. We kept climbing. I did not tell them everything. I only told Mina. She reacted calmly. By calmly, I mean she grabbed my collar and shook me. You are climbing a tower that might erase you? Yes. Why? The reward is high. She shook me harder. You are unbelievable. I also want answers. She stopped. That part was true. For a year, I had treated my ability like a lucky bug. Kill monsters. Convert EXP. Get stronger. Funny numbers go up. But if somebody had deleted part of my system data, then my power was not random. And if the tower was waiting for me, the dragon attack might not have been random either. For the first time, I wondered if every ridiculous disaster around me had been pointing in one direction. Up. Floor 60 tried to crush us with gravity. The S ranks fell to their knees. I increased strength, then endurance, then walked normally. The tower increased gravity again. I added more stats. It increased again. We continued this argument for 5 minutes. Eventually, the floor cracked under the pressure before I did. Floor 61 displayed a message. Gravity test skipped. System resources insufficient. I had bullied architecture. Floor 70 summoned copies of our worst fears. Garrick faced a giant demon king. Mina faced a city burning in blue fire. I faced my mother holding the ranking crystal bill. I surrendered immediately. The system called me a coward. I called it financially responsible. Floor 80 was a marketplace, no enemies. Just merchants from races I had never seen. Elf-like people with crystal skin, three-eyed giants, a talking sword selling smaller swords. One merchant saw taxes and offered me 50 million credits. Taxes kicked him through his stall. Another merchant offered a skill scroll called Spatial Step. Teleport up to 10 meters. Price, 1 million credits. I bought it. Then I read the fine print. Maximum distance increases with agility. I had over 30,000 agility. I tested it. I aimed 10 meters. I disappeared. I reappeared on floor 83. The system had multiplied the range so badly that I skipped 3 floors. Mina's voice echoed through my communicator. Kaito? Yes? Where are you? Above you. How? Shopping. The raid team had to climb to meet me. Floor 83 contained a sleeping giant. I tried to sneak past. Taxes sneezed. The giant woke up. Level 240. I teleported behind it, then above it, then below it. Spatial Step had almost no cooldown because my mana recovery was absurd. The giant spun around trying to follow me until it got dizzy. I kicked the back of its knee. It fell. The entire floor tilted. The giant slid into a wall. A hidden door opened. Behind it was a treasure room. I found a pair of boots called Boots of Reasonable Speed. Their description said they reduced movement speed by 90%. Everyone laughed. I put them on immediately. For the first time in months, I could run without breaking the ground. Best item in the tower. Floor 90 was guarded by a knight in black armor. No tricks, no puzzles, no speeches. He simply drew his sword. Level 300. Garrick stepped forward. This one is mine. I did not argue. For 10 minutes, I saw what a real master looked like. Garrick's spear moved like silver lightning. The knight's sword cut through space. Every clash shook the floor. Garrick was level 178. But skill, class bonuses, gear, and experience let him fight far above his level. I had bigger stats. He had technique. Watching him made me realize something embarrassing. I was powerful. I was not good. There was a difference. Garrick took a slash across the chest and kept fighting. He broke the knight's guard with a feint I did not even understand. Then he drove his spear through the armor. The knight fell. Garrick dropped to one knee. I walked over. That was amazing. He looked at me. You mean that? Yes. He laughed, then stopped fighting like a falling piano. I wrote that down mentally. The knight left behind a black sword. Garrick handed it to me. You need a weapon. I have fists. You need a weapon. I picked up the sword. It weighed 12 tons. To me, it felt like a spoon. The weapon had a requirement. Minimum level 150. I was level 5. I could not equip it. Then I remembered Limit Breaker. Ignore one system restriction for 60 seconds. I activated it. The level requirement vanished. I equipped the sword. A skill awakened. Devourer Edge. Damage scales with the difference between your stats and your level. Everyone stared at me. The sword began screaming. Not metaphorically. It literally screamed because the scaling calculation overloaded. I unequipped it. The floor stopped shaking. Garrick took it back. No weapon. Agreed. Floor 99 was empty. The door to floor 100 stood in front of us. Every hunter checked equipment. Mina restored mana. Garrick tightened his armor. Taxes ate part of the door. Then the tower announced a rule. Only one challenger may enter the final floor. Everyone looked at me. I looked behind me. No. Garrick pointed at the door. Yes, I'm level 5. He slapped the back of my head. It hurt his hand. He pretended it did not. You are the reason the tower exists. Go. Mina gave me a small red stone. What is this? A return crystal. Break it if something goes wrong. Will it work? No idea. Comforting. She grabbed my sleeve before I entered. Kaito. I looked back. For once, she was not angry. Do not be stupid. I thought about my entire life. That is a difficult request. Then I opened the door. Floor 100 was a field of white grass under a black sky. At the center stood a man wearing plain gray clothes. No armor. No weapon. His level appeared. Level 20. I laughed. Then I stopped. His stats appeared. Strength, 90,000. Agility, 90,000. Endurance, 90,000. Mana, 90,000. Perception, 90,000. Luck, 90,000. I checked again. Same numbers. The man smiled. Now you understand. He was level 20. His stats made mine look like beginner numbers. He walked toward me. My name is Eon. Cool. I am the last divergent. My hands went cold. He opened his status. Same trait. Divergent Ascension. Same choice. Level up or convert EXP. But his class was different. XP Sovereign. I stared at it. That sounds much cooler than X-Measer. Yes, I hate you. He laughed. Then he punched me. I did not see him move. My body flew across the field, bounced 7 times, and carved a trench through a mountain that had not been there a second earlier. I stood up. My nose was bleeding. I touched the blood. Then I smiled. He was stronger, actually stronger. Not a tricky boss. Not a dragon with high levels and lower stats. Not a mirror copying me. A real person using the same broken path better than I was. I teleported. He grabbed me mid-step. That should have been impossible. He threw me upward. I reversed my velocity with the coin of reversal. He expected it. He appeared above me and kicked me down. I hit the field hard enough to create a crater. He landed beside me. You are crude. I get that a lot. You waste stats. That feels personal. You put thousands into luck because you lost at cards. How do you know that? He pointed at the sky. The tower had been watching me. I hated architecture again. Eon raised one hand. Mana bolt. A tiny blue spark appeared. I almost laughed. Then he compressed it. Smaller. 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 The 1 mana bolt became a black dot. My perception screamed danger. I teleported away. The dot touched the ground. Half the field vanished. I stared at the void. He had used 1 mana. 1. I used thousands because I was strong enough to be lazy. He used 1 because he understood control. Garrick's words returned. Stop fighting like a falling piano. Eon attacked again. I stopped trying to overpower him. For the first time I tried to learn during a fight. He shifted his shoulder before teleporting. His left foot turned before a kick. His mana compressed inward before every attack. My perception was over 20,000. I had been using it to hear mice. I focused. The world slowed. His movements became lines. Not slow enough to dodge easily, but readable. He punched. I tilted my head. The fist missed. He smiled. Better. I punched back. He blocked. Instead of forcing through, I redirected. His balance shifted. I kicked his ankle. He stepped back. 1 step. That tiny step felt better than defeating the dragon. Eon's smile widened. Then his stats doubled. I stopped smiling. Why can you do that? Compound interest. I have that. You leave stat points in your menu. I froze. He continued. Unspent points do not compound. My soul left my body. For months I had stored thousands of free stat points because I liked having reserves. Eon was telling me I had been wasting passive growth. I felt more pain than any punch could cause. He attacked while I was grieving. I barely dodged. Focus. I lost millions in theoretical value. That is your concern. Yes. We traded blows across the field. Every hit taught me something. I compressed mana bolt. I reduced the cost. I stopped flooding reinforced body across my whole body and focused it where attacks landed. I used spatial step in shorter bursts. I stopped moving like a bomb. I started moving like a hunter. Then Eon pulled out a final technique. He placed 2 fingers against his chest. His level changed. 20, 19, 18, 17. My eyes widened. He was spending levels, not EXP, levels. His stats rose every time his level fell. He reached level 1. Strength, 300,000. Agility, 300,000. Everything, 300,000. I whispered, "That is disgusting. Thank you." He vanished. The next hit broke my ribs. The second cracked the field. The third launched me to the edge of the floor. I could not match him. Not yet. So I did something I had avoided for my entire life. I pressed level up. Stored EXP surged. Level 5 became 10. 10 became 15. 15 became 20. Skills flooded my vision. Advanced mana control, aura skin, burst step, hunter's focus, emergency heal. My raw stat gains from leveling were tiny, but the skills mattered. At level 20, my status stabilized. Eon stopped. He looked almost disappointed. You chose levels. Just 20. You finally accepted the normal path. I grinned. No, I robbed it. Advanced mana control activated. For the first time, my 40,000 mana did not feel like an ocean spilling everywhere. It felt like threads. I pulled those threads around my body. Aura skin. I compressed mana across my knuckles. Hunter's focus sharpened my perception. Burst step merged with spatial step. Then my class reacted. Impossible combination detected. Skills fused. New skill acquired. 0 step. Movement distance scales with agility. Mana cost scales down with level difference. At level 20 with absurd agility, the cost became nearly 0. I moved. Eon's eyes widened. I appeared behind him. He turned. I appeared above him. He blocked. I appeared below. He kicked. I vanished. For the first time he could not follow every step. I circled him hundreds of times in 1 second. Not because I was faster, because I was cheaper. Every teleport cost almost nothing. My low level had become a weapon. Eon laughed. A real laugh. Good. I gathered mana into 1 point. Not 8,000. Not 1,000. 10. I compressed it the way he had shown me. 10 mana became a needle of blue light. I used 0 step. Appeared inside his guard. And tapped his chest. The needle exploded. Eon flew backward. He landed on his feet. A burn mark appeared on his shirt. I had damaged him. Barely. But I had done it. He looked down at the mark, then at me. You learn fast. I make many mistakes quickly. That is not the same. It works. He raised both hands. The black sky opened. Millions of blue system windows appeared above us. I saw names, levels, stats, every hunter in the world. The tower was connected to the global system. Eon spoke quietly. The system is dying. I forgot the fight. What? EXP was never meant to be infinite. Levels were created to regulate growth. Every time humanity levels, the system uses world energy to stabilize the body. Billions of people, endless monsters, endless growth. He pointed upward. Cracks spread through the sky. The system is running out. I stared at the windows. If it dies, levels stop. That sounds survivable. Skills stop. Still survivable. Dungeon barriers fail. I stopped joking. If dungeon barriers failed, every monster dimension would connect directly to Earth. No gates. No warning. No limits. Eon looked at me. Divergents were designed as emergency containers. We convert EXP directly and reduce system cost. So we are batteries. More like pressure valves. I prefer battery. He ignored me. The others were hunted. Powerful governments feared people who could grow without levels. Some divergents were killed. Some joined the system core. I refused. How many are left? 2, me, and him. I looked at his level 1 status. Why build the tower? To see whether you were strong enough. For what? He smiled. The answer never came. The entire tower shook. A red warning filled the sky. External administrator detected. Unauthorized divergent contact confirmed. Correction protocol initiated. Eon's face changed. For the first time he looked afraid. The white field split open. Something pushed through the black sky. A hand. Just a hand. It was larger than a city. Its skin was made of glowing code. No level appeared. No stats. No name. Only one word. Administrator. The hand reached for Eon. He raised both arms and fired a compressed mana beam stronger than anything I had seen. The hand did not slow down. It grabbed him. Eon shouted. Kaito. I used 0 step. I appeared on the giant finger. I punched. Nothing happened. I increased strength. 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. I punched again. The code skin cracked slightly. The administrator turned its attention to me. A message appeared. Anomaly Kaito Ren identified. Recommended action. Deletion. That feels rude. The hand flicked one finger. I activated Limit Breaker. Ignore one system restriction. The attack hit. Instead of ignoring damage, I ignored distance. I have no idea why that worked. Maybe because the system considered space a restriction. Maybe because my skill was badly designed. Maybe because my luck stat had become insane. Whatever the reason, when the finger hit me, I did not fly backward. I appeared inside the administrator's arm. There was no flesh, only an endless tunnel of blue symbols. I saw EXP flowing through it like rivers. Billions of points. More EXP than I had earned in my entire life. My trait reacted. Convert EXP into stat points? I stopped breathing. The administrator was made of system energy. System energy was being treated as EXP. The conversion window opened. Amount available, unknown. I smiled. Then Eon screamed from outside, "Do not!" I had already pressed convert. The world froze. Every window disappeared. For one impossible second I saw nothing. Then numbers began rising. Strength, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. Agility, 100,000, 300,000, 600,000. Mana, 200,000, 700,000, 1,500,000. My body felt like it was going to explode. The administrator's arm collapsed as energy poured into me. The giant hand released Eon. The tower screamed. Not a metaphor. The entire tower literally screamed through the system. Warning. Unauthorized conversion. Warning. Stat capacity exceeded. Warning. Level insufficient. Warning. Human vessel unstable. I felt every bone crack. My skin glowed blue. I had too many stats. That was a sentence I never thought I would say. Eon teleported inside the collapsing arm and grabbed my shoulder. Stop the conversion. How? Choose level up. I stared at him. I just got to level 20. You will die at level 20. Can I go to 21? Go higher. Pain erased my greed. I pressed level up. 20 became 30. 30 became 50. 50 became 80. New classes tried to unlock. I ignored them. 100. 120. My body stabilized slightly. I hated every number. All my beautiful low-level advantage disappearing. Then my XP Miser class triggered. Unique condition met. Massive forced leveling resisted. Would you like to spend stat points to suppress levels? I almost cried from happiness. Yes. Eon stared at my screen. What did you just do? Crime. My level dropped. 120, 100, 80, 50, 30, 20. The excess power burned millions of stat points, but my level returned to 20. The administrator's arm exploded. We fell out of the code tunnel onto floor 100. The white grass was gone. The tower was collapsing. The giant hand outside had been destroyed, but the black sky now contained hundreds of cracks. Behind each crack was another shape. Eyes, hands, masks, things watching. Eon looked up. You called them. I pressed one button. You stole power from an administrator. It looked free. He laughed once, but there was no humor in it. The system now knows what you can do. A global message appeared. Every person on Earth saw it. System emergency notice. Divergent anomaly detected. New world rule activated. Bounty protocol. Target, Kaito Ren. Reward, 1 divine skill. I stared at the message. Then my communicator exploded with calls. Mina. Director Hana. Unknown numbers. Guild leaders. News stations. Probably my mother. Especially my mother. Eon looked at me. Your world is about to hunt you. I opened my stat screen. After the administrator conversion and the emergency suppression, my numbers had changed completely. Level 20. Strength, 312,000. Agility, 298,000. Endurance, 340,000. Mana, 1,120,000. Perception, 270,000. Luck, 88,000. I was level 20. My stats were now beyond level 100 hunters. Beyond level 200. Probably beyond common sense. But the bounty was worse than any monster. A divine skill could change a person's life. Every ambitious hunter on the planet now had a reason to kill me. Mina's call finally connected. Her face appeared through static. Kaito! Hi! Why is the entire system offering a divine skill for your head? Small misunderstanding. Behind her, alarms flashed. Garrick was shouting orders. The tower floors below were breaking apart. Mina pointed at the screen. What did you do? I may have stolen EXP from God. She closed her eyes. I waited. She opened them. I asked you not to be stupid. In my defense, the button said convert. The connection died. Eon walked toward the edge of the collapsing floor. We need to leave. Where? Not Earth. I frowned. What? The bounty is only the first problem. The cracks in the sky widened. Beyond them, I saw worlds. Thousands of worlds. Some full of monsters. Some full of cities. Some burned. Some frozen. All connected by the same blue system light. Eon pointed at one distant world where a giant golden tower stood upside down beneath the clouds. The administrators manage more than Earth, so the system is universal. Larger. How much larger? He looked at me. You really should have asked before stealing from it. Fair. The floor vanished beneath us. We fell. I used zero step to move through falling debris. Eon followed. Taxes suddenly dropped from a portal above and landed on my head. I had forgotten the rabbit was still outside floor 100. Taxes squeaked angrily. I know, bad owner. The rabbit kicked me. We reached floor 99. Garrick and Mina were there with the raid team. The moment I appeared, half of them raised weapons. The bounty message floated in front of everyone. Target, Kaito Ren. Reward, 1 divine skill. Nobody moved. I looked around. These were S-rank hunters. People who had spent their whole lives chasing power. A divine skill was priceless. One hunter lowered his sword. Then another. Garrick pointed his spear at the rest. If anyone tries, I kill them first. I liked him even more. Mina walked up to me. She slapped me. My endurance made it worse for her than for me. She grabbed her hand. Ow! Sorry. Stop apologizing after being indestructible. Sorry. She nearly slapped me again. Eon appeared behind me. Every weapon turned toward him. Garrick narrowed his eyes. Who is that? Long explanation. We are falling out of a collapsing tower. Short explanation. He is me, but older, smarter, stronger, and with a better class name. Eon sighed. The tower tilted. We ran. Floor 90 collapsed into floor 89. Then 88. The whole structure was compressing. I grabbed 2 injured hunters. Garrick carried 3. Mina created fire platforms. Taxes kicked falling rocks out of the air. We reached floor 80. The merchant marketplace was gone. Only one merchant remained. The talking sword. It shouted, final sale, even during the apocalypse. I respected that. It held out a small cube. Dimensional anchor, 1 use. Opens a path outside tower space. How much? 10 million credits. I have 3. 3 million. 3 credits. The sword screamed. The ceiling collapsed. I grabbed the cube. I owe you. That is theft. Securing. Mina shouted. Stop using that word. I crushed the anchor. A portal opened. Everyone jumped through. We landed on the deck of the association ship in the Northern Sea. Behind us, the black tower folded inward. For a second, it became a thin line. Then it vanished. The ocean exploded upward. A tidal wave rose over the ship. I stepped forward. Garrick looked at me. No, I can stop it. No, I can punch. No punching the ocean. I had no better plan. Mina used ice magic with 6 other hunters and froze the wave. The ship survived. My reputation as a strategic genius did not. Then the global bounty activated fully. Red beams appeared in the sky. One beam pointed directly at me. Every hunter with system access could now see my direction. I looked up. That seems unfair. Eon looked at the beam. They are not hiding you. Within 10 minutes, the first hunters arrived. Not enemies from another country. Not assassins. A fishing boat. 3 level 30 guys with rusty weapons. One shouted, "Give us the divine skill." Garrick stared at them. They stared at Garrick. They turned the boat around. 5 minutes later, a helicopter arrived. Then 2 guild ships. Then flying hunters. Then drones. The sea filled with people chasing the reward. Director Hana called. Kaito, do not fight them. I wasn't planning to. Good. I was planning to run. Better. Eon shook his head. You cannot stay on Earth. Director Hana heard him. Who is that? Bad news. Kaito, fine. His name is Eon. He says the system is dying. Administrators are coming. There are other worlds. I am an emergency pressure valve, and I accidentally declared war on the universe. Silence. Then Director Hana said, "Come to headquarters. Did you hear the part about every hunter chasing me?" Yes. You want me in the middle of the capital? Yes. Why? Because your mother is here. My soul left my body again. I looked at Eon. Can your otherworld plan happen now? No. Unfortunate. We returned to the city under heavy escort. The bounty beam followed me the entire way. Hunters gathered on rooftops. Some shouted threats. Some offered alliances. One guy held a sign that said, "Please let me hit you once." I respected his honesty. At association headquarters, my mother waited in the lobby. She was level 3. She worked as an accountant. She had never fought anything stronger than a parking ticket. I had faced dragons, a level 300 knight, a divergent monster, and a cosmic administrator. None scared me like her expression. She pointed at a chair. Sit. I sat. Director Hana, Garrick, Mina, and Eon stood around us. My mother folded her arms. Did you steal from God? Technically, I converted. Did you steal from God? Yes, She nodded. Return it. Eon covered his mouth. Mina turned away. Garrick suddenly found the ceiling interesting. I tried to explain that the stolen energy had become stats and could not simply be returned. My mother asked if there was a receipt. There was not. She called the system poorly managed. For the first time, Eon looked afraid of someone besides an administrator. Then the building shook. A spear of light pierced the roof. An elite guild had attacked. Not monsters, humans. The divine skill bounty had already broken alliances. A level 165 hunter crashed into the lobby wearing golden armor. He pointed at me. Kaito Ren, surrender and your death will be painless. My mother stood up. Excuse me? The hunter hesitated. You should move. You broke the roof. He blinked. My mother pointed at the rubble. Do you know how much that costs? I stood up quickly. Mom, maybe let me handle. She turned on me. You sit. I sat. The level 165 hunter looked confused. Then 3 more bounty hunters crashed through the wall. My mother looked at Director Hana. Is nobody using doors anymore? That was when the battle started. Garrick blocked the golden hunter. Mina filled the lobby with firewalls. Association guards rushed in. I tried to stay seated because my mother had told me to. Then a spear flew toward her. I moved, not with 0 step, not with a punch. I simply caught it. The room went silent. I looked at the hunter who threw it. You aimed at my mother. He raised both hands. It slipped. Fair excuse. I used spatial step and gently placed him inside a vending machine. Then another hunter attacked from behind. Taxes kicked him through a couch. Eon watched everything with interest. You are holding back. I'm in a lobby. That never stopped you before. I have grown. A mana bolt from outside shattered the windows. I used advanced mana control and spread my aura into a thin wall. The blast stopped. Not exploded. Stopped. For the first time, I controlled power instead of smashing it. I pushed the mana back. The attacker outside flew off the roof without injury. Garrick noticed. He grinned. Less piano. I grinned back. Then the bounty system updated. Time remaining for divine reward. 23 hours. Bonus condition added. Target Kaito Ren must remain below level 30. I stared at the message. That was specific. Eon's expression went dark. They want you low level. Why? Because your trait is most dangerous there. Another update appeared. If target exceeds level 30, bounty cancelled. Everyone stopped. The solution was obvious. Level up, 31, bounty gone. Simple, safe, boring. I opened my menu. I had enough stored EXP to jump far beyond 30. Mina grabbed my arm. Do it. Director Hana nodded. Garrick nodded. My mother nodded harder than everyone. Eon said nothing. I looked at him. What happens if I level past 30? You become easier for the system to regulate. How much easier? Significantly. So the administrators want me to level. Probably. I closed the menu. Mina stared at me. No, I didn't say anything. I know your face. What face? The law-changing face. The building shook again. More bounty hunters arrived. I smiled. If they want me above level 30, I'm staying at 20. My mother stood up. I corrected myself. Temporarily. She sat down. We needed a better plan. 23 hours. The whole world could track me. If I survived without leveling, the bounty might expire. But if the system expected me to remain below 30, maybe it was bait. Eon suggested leaving Earth through a hidden dimensional gate. Director Hana refused until he proved another world would not instantly kill me. Garrick suggested using me as bait to arrest bounty hunters. Mina suggested locking me in a bunker. My mother suggested I get a normal job. I suggested lunch. Nobody listened. Then Taxes bit the bounty beam. The red beam flickered. Everyone stared at the rabbit. Taxes bit it again. The beam cracked. Eon's eyes widened. That pet came from the tower. Yes. It is system native. Yes. It can interact with interface constructs. I picked up Taxes. The rabbit looked smug. Can he eat the bounty? Eon looked horrified. That should not be possible. That meant it probably was. I held Taxes toward the red beam. He started chewing. The beam shortened. Outside, every bounty hunter's tracking arrow began spinning wildly. Chaos erupted across the city. Hunters flew in the wrong direction. One group chased a bus. Another group attacked a statue. A famous assassin broke into a bakery because his arrow pointed at a cake. Taxes kept eating. The system sent an error. Tracking integrity compromised. Then another. Pet entity unauthorized. Then a third. Would you like to register pet as system service animal? I pressed yes. Eon grabbed my wrist too late. What did you just do? I made him official. Taxes glowed. New designation acquired. Service beast, Taxes. Ability unlocked. Consume fee. Taxes can consume one system cost, penalty, or restriction per day. Nobody spoke. I slowly looked at the bounty message. Eon slowly looked at the bounty message. Mina slowly looked at me. I lifted taxes. My son. The rabbit kicked me in the chin. I deserved it. We tested consume fee. Could taxes eat the level 30 restriction? Maybe. Could he eat a skill cooldown? Maybe. Could he eat dungeon entry requirements? Maybe. Could he eat taxes? My mother told me not to joke about that. The problem was 1 use per day. We needed the right target. Eon wanted to save it for an administrator attack. Director Hana wanted to remove the bounty. I wanted to remove the phrase ex-miser from my class screen. Everyone rejected my idea. Then the sky turned white. Every system window in the world disappeared. Phones lost connection. Dungeon gates stopped glowing. Skills shut down. For 5 seconds, Earth became normal. Then a single black message appeared. System maintenance mode. Administrator descent approved. Eon stood up. That is bad. How bad? He looked at me. The hand was a remote projection. A crack opened over the city. Something stepped through. Human size, white suit, black mask, no aura, no level, no visible stats. The administrator looked down from the sky. Then every level 100 plus hunter in the city collapsed to one knee. Not because of pressure. Their levels were being turned off. Garrick's armor dimmed. His skills vanished. Mina's fire disappeared. The administrator had disabled the system. Everyone who depended on levels lost most of their power. I checked myself. Level 20. Skills unavailable. Stats still active. My strength remained 312,000. My mana remained over 1 million. Eon smiled. Now I understood why the system feared divergence. Levels could be shut down. Stats could not. The administrator pointed at me. Anomaly Kaito Ren. Its voice came from every wall. Return stolen system resource. My mother whispered. See? I ignored her. I can't. Then correction will proceed. It raised one hand. A black cube formed. Eon stepped beside me. Do not let it touch you. What happens? Deletion. Painful? You stop existing. Very efficient. The administrator threw the cube. I dodged. The cube touched the floor. The floor vanished. Not broke. Vanished. No rubble. No hole. Just nothing. I grabbed my mother and moved. Eon moved Mina and Director Hana. Garrick ran under his own physical strength, which was still impressive even without system buffs. The administrator threw more cubes. I could not use zero step. No skills, so I relied on raw agility. The world blurred. I moved through the lobby, carrying people out one by one before the building disappeared piece by piece. The administrator tracked me. Every cube got closer. I needed skills. Eon shouted, "Your limit breaker is system-based. It will not work." Taxes squeaked from my shoulder. I looked at him. Consume fee, 1 cost, penalty or restriction. System maintenance had disabled skills. That was a restriction. I held up the rabbit. Eat maintenance, Eon shouted. That is not how. Taxes bit the air. A chunk disappeared from the black system message. My skill windows returned. Only mine. The administrator froze. I activated zero step. Then I appeared directly in front of its mask. Customer complaint. I punched. The administrator flew through association headquarters, across the capital, and into a mountain. The entire city heard the impact. My mother shouted from below, "Do not destroy another mountain." I lowered my fist. Sorry. The mountain split. The administrator walked out. Its white suit was torn. Black light leaked from its chest. I had damaged it. System maintenance ended. Skills returned worldwide. Garrick's armor lit up. Mina's flames roared back. Every hunter in the city stood again. The administrator looked at me, then at taxes, then at Eon. Emergency escalation authorized. Eon cursed. I had never heard him curse. That worried me more than the cosmic entity. The administrator lifted both hands. Every dungeon gate in the country opened at once. Monster alarms screamed. Hundreds of gates, thousands of monsters. It was forcing a choice. Fight it, or save everyone else. I looked at Mina. She understood. Go. Can you handle the gates? She smiled. I'm level 31 now. That is not reassuring. Garrick planted his spear. Leave the city to us. Director Hana was already giving orders. My mother pointed at me. Come home alive. I nodded. Then I turned toward the administrator. Eon stood beside me. Taxes climbed onto my head. The three of us faced the thing that ran the system. I cracked my neck. Okay. Eon looked at me. Do you have a plan? Yes. He waited. I smiled. We make it regret having numbers. The administrator opened a portal. Behind it was a place filled with blue stars and endless floating towers. The system core, it was inviting us in, or dragging us in. I could not tell. A new message appeared. Final correction zone unlocked. Entry will permanently sever Earth access. I stared at the warning. Mina was fighting monsters below. Garrick was holding a collapsing gate. My mother was arguing with an emergency medic. Eon looked at me. If we go in, we may not return. I checked my stats. Level 20, more power than any level 100 hunter should have. 1,000,000 mana, a rabbit that could eat rules, a class named X-Miser that I still hated, and somewhere beyond that portal, an entire system full of EXP. I smiled. The administrator probably thought it had trapped me. It had made one mistake, a very stupid mistake. It showed me where all the EXP was stored. I stepped toward the portal. Then the system sent one final message only I could see. Hidden inheritance detected. Divergent origin restored. Father, unknown. Mother, human. Creator, administrator 0. My foot stopped. Eon saw my face. What? I looked at the message again. Administrator 0, not a person, not a hunter, one of them. The thing that created my trait had been an administrator. And according to the system, it was not deleted. It was waiting. Location, system core, sealed layer. A second message appeared beneath it. Warning. Administrator 0 has detected you. Then a final line. My son, come home. I stared into the blue portal. Taxes stopped chewing my hair. Eon's face went pale. And for the first time since I learned I could turn EXP into stats, I did not know whether the next thing waiting for me was a boss, a god, a father, or something much worse. So naturally, I stepped through.